Yes, welcome back, Trailer Park Traders. I decided to do a very quick video describing, and when I say quick, I'm always long. I always am, but how HYG and J and K affect Bitcoin and those cycles I was talking about in the last video, the 12 to 1300 day cycle, and what you can do to better prepare, because I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube that are constantly going, we're going to the moon, and it's that gambler type addiction that they're playing off of to get you in and out in some situations. But this is where patience will really win the day instead of taking really bad financial advice from a person you don't even know. That's right, none of this is financial advice, by the way, but I am seeing some major similarities. Now, what I have in front of me right here is HYG, and HYG, whenever I put the SMAs on there, and I love the 1472 SMAs, weekly, monthly, 3 month, the longer the time frame, the better the information, of course. But when we look at this, we see these crossovers that occur. So I'm just going to overline that with red for sell, green for buy. That's right. D above K is sell, K above D is buy on the RSI and the 1472. 14 above 72 is a buy, and 72 above 14 is a sell. So that's basically the information I'm getting. And we can, did I put no, I didn't put the RSI on this one. That's okay. We don't need it. So looking at just HYG, you can tell expansion, right? And then credit starts to get crappy, and then we come down and up and down and up and down, right? These ebb and flows of credit. And looky here on the weekly 1472 SMA, we have a sell. And these sells go on for quite a while. Now, what are you probably saying? What the hell does this have to do with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin needs a lot of liquidity, and one of the things they do is they carry trade from the yen in credit. Credit is ideal. So you have um, uh, HYG and J and K are key indicators for how Bitcoin will behave in the future or in the past. And I can show that to you really quick here. And we're just going to overlap BTC. So as you can see right here, January 2022, we get a huge crossover. And what happens to BTC? It dumps. Yes, very good. Here, I'm going to do that. Just kind of do that. You see it now? Do you see it now? I see it. Dump, dump. Not that bad in 2020. Of course, you were in a new expansion at that time. Dump, and then dump, and then dump. All right. So we're going to move on to J and K. Now, J and K, and you can see this a little bit clearer. Whenever you get a sell, both J and K and HYG dump. They move together, by the way, but they get closer together. That's kind of the key here. You see how they're far apart in expansion, and then they get really close together during depression. Key things to look for. So you get a crossover and it dumps. You get a crossover and they dump HYG and J and K. Crossover, dump, crossover, dump, and crossover. Well, look at the spread on HYG and J and K. I'm using that word differently than normal credit spreads. But look at how spread apart they are. What do you think's going to happen next? I wonder. Ooh, this is a tough one. You know what? I think it's just easier to listen to people on YouTube go, Bitcoin to the moon, bitches! But not quite. Not quite. When you're looking at this chart here, it's telling me some bad shit's about to happen. In other words, we're about to have a credit collapse. Not financial advice, but it looks like we're about to have a credit collapse. So let's jump on over to BTC. Here's BTC. Hiking Ashy style. That's right. And I'll just bring up an old chart that I did a while ago concerning what I think's going on. And you're in this like expansion. We go up, we touch this line, we come down, we touch that line, we come up, we touch this line, we come down, and we wait a minute. We haven't touched this line yet. Well, we still got a ways to go before this is all over with, right? Corrections, 365-day, correction 365, correction 365. So we're not there yet. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we should be bottoming out somewhere around October-ish. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah. So somewhere around there. So January of 2027 should be an ideal area between that and April for another buy signal that may be appearing. So I'm just showing you the numbers here. So corrections, and once again, well, how do you know it's a correction? Well, I am using, the hell am I using here? It's my SMAs. Am I using my SMAs? Oh, I'm using at the highest point of the correction. That's where I'm counting it. So it's very, very simple. So Hike and Ash, you can show this on the 3-month a lot clearer where this is. So your highest point was right here in October to October, November, December, essentially, for that fourth quarter. And then we've been coming down ever since. And then if you look at the time frame, 914 days, 914 days, 823 and 914 days is expected from the next one. And where are we headed? My expectations around 35,000. Well, what does this have to do with credit once again? Well, let's overlay J&K and HYG. And so from the top, you can now see a correction, right? The top correction. The red's the top, guys. Follow me. The red correction in HYG, J&K. You see the spreads really, really spread apart and then crash. Look how spread apart they are here. This is scary shit when you start to really look at this a little bit closer. Let's overlay the 1472 buy and sells from HYG. This is HYG, so I'm going to turn off the Bitcoin and I'm going to turn on the HYG crossovers. And now I'm going to turn back on how close it is. So does credit move Bitcoin or does Bitcoin move credit? Well, if Bitcoin needs liquidity, cheap credit means a shitload of liquidity. You follow me? So credit moves Bitcoin. Bitcoin does not move credit. Bitcoin is not the center of the planet or the world or the universe for that fact. It is Bitcoin and it needs a lot of liquidity. And same thing with Dogecoin. Dogecoin actually needs more liquidity. And so that was kind of the question, like, why didn't we have altcoin season that last cycle? You're not going to get altcoin season if you have shitty credit. Just not going to get it. And that's what happened. The credit was there. It just wasn't amazing, right? We didn't have a major correction. So those are some of the key factors why credit in Dogecoin or altcoins in general did not go to the moon as expected. And that's probably the biggest fault on a lot of investors is they're not looking at credit very, very closely in these cycles, the timing cycles, because the ebb and flows of the entire financial markets is based off of credit, the Feds. And when you overlay loosening and tightening of the Feds, the QEs and the QTs, it also lines up. So we need some sort of major correction, a credit crack before the next rally. How much time do we have? Let me turn this HYG back off. You got, what is it? July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So you got about 6 months. Yeah, you got about 6 months. So between now and January, that's basically where I'm forecasting. And then after January, sometime between January and April, you should get that next expectation of that the buy signals. So when I'm looking at credit, credit should drop like you see here and get a crossover. Now this crossover on the weekly is a lagger, by the way. It's a lagger. It's not something that you want to do your buy and sells off of. And what the hell was I using? Oh, stock RSI. Yeah, your stock RSI is pretty accurate here on the 3 month. If you want to go long and just buy the stock RSI, not financial advice, but it lines up almost perfectly. And look, we're getting oversold right now on that stock RSI. Turn this off. Yeah. All right. So HYG weekly 1472 EMA crossovers. Credit is the CEO. Follow the money. You start getting crossovers. Pay attention to what the hell's going on here. And that will line up everything that you see right here. Your buys, your sells for BTC. Literally that simple. Here's some more key takeaways so you can kind of see the cycles and how they work. So, like I said, around between January and April, that's where I'm really going to be looking for these buys and sells and before I get in and out. So, but anyway, I hope this helps. I just wanted to give an overall and in addition to the last video, how credit impacts Bitcoin and what you should be looking for as an investor. Now, if you're day trading or you're just going to buy the dips, well, God bless you. But once again, looking at real money, if you're investing 50 to $100,000 in this next cycle, you need to you need to have a little bit more information before you just willy-nilly jump into this shit. And I'm telling you, patience is going to win the day on this thing. Something is going to happen that's massive between now and January that's going to reset the credit markets and move us forward. And I know it's like, but the Dow Jones is up today. Well, that's great. Then you have nothing to worry about, brother. Nothing to worry about. If your narrative is that we're going to the moon and based off of what YouTube is saying, then go for it. But I'm just saying, once you see this, you will never unsee it, and it will become a part of your daily routine to say, what the fuck is credit doing? What's the macro picture? I should be starting with the big picture first and then moving my way down before I hit these buy buttons. Because if cash is going to be king, and I have some sort of intuition that Bitcoin's going to what, 35 to $37,000 potentially, and I'm moving 100,000 in, well, looks like I'm going to be buying a lot of Bitcoins. versus the guy who's like, buy it now, buy it now, buy. Oh, it's over with. Let's based off of what? And that's another thing. These YouTube guys, they don't really go into detail. They're not very analytical. BTC is, but the Dogecoin guys not so much. And that's probably why my viewership is like three people. Anyway, shout out to everybody who watched this, and thank you so much. Hope this helps. If you got any questions, put it in the comments. That's right, I'm here for you. And I'll probably do another video in another 2 months. But it is what it is. I took all my old videos off. I really just want to focus on credit, how credit impacts Bitcoin, and looking for those ultimate buy and sell signals to protect your profits. And that's right. The big picture always wins, not the little tiny one, the big picture. And we're looking for that major credit reset next. And once that happens, then we look for the loosening of the Feds, and then we start to look for an entry position, which should be within the next 3 months. So the black swan catalyst is going to happen. Then the credit markets tank. Then the Feds step in. Oh, and unemployment's going to go through the roof. And guess what's going to get fixed? Oh yeah, inflation, because no one's going to have a job. All right. I know doom and gloom, but that's the cycle of our wonderful American financial markets right now. But the dollar, but this, but that. Look, it's the ebb and flows, man. I don't control it. I'm a spectator bringing it to you. Y'all take care.